So I've been playing around with the idea of kind of automating watering of plants with an Arduino. And so here's the Arduino, here's my breadboard, which is basically just switching on a little pump with a transistor and then reading in some analog input from this guy, which is just a homemade little 2 copper plates separated by like a milk cap to read in the resistance of the soil. And so based on the water, I can tell kind of how well watered the plant is. So that's your simple hygrometer. And then I have some drip irrigation, which is going to the base of the green onion. Going back up it a little bit, there's the it's like a little valve that I can adjust flow rates. And then there's a submersible pump down there and just a little milk garden. So I have that wired up. And then the interesting part about this all is you could do this all with an Arduino, but I kind of wanted to at some point be able to control it at a higher level and maybe do a little bit of networking statistics and stuff, and it was cheaper to not buy a shield but to actually just use my Raspberry Pi to control it. And so I have it talking to the Arduino over USB. It's over a firmware called NanPy, which is a Python library as well as some custom firmware that you load onto the Arduino itself. And so there are Python modules for that. And then here's kind of my code base, which I will be putting on GitHub at some point. It's basically really simple. It's just check what the hygrometer reading is, and if it needs water, then water it, and if it doesn't, just leave it alone. It has a little bit of error checking here, the check time function, which is just to make sure that it can't run more than 4 times in an hour, so it couldn't just flood your apartment, because that would be bad. So that's basically it. So I'll run it now. And what it's going to do is it's going to start, just say it's starting. Those are readings. And I have some thresholds, and so now it says it's watering the plant. And if you go down here, it's dripping water. And it's a very quiet pump. And then it has a little waiting period. So now the values are above the threshold. I think I have it set at 400 right now. So it'll just start printing out values. It checks every 2 seconds. It really doesn't need to pull that fast, but I have it set that way for now. And so that's basically it. Hopefully I'm going to make it a little bit more of a complicated thing sooner. But for now, that's what works. So.